Right now at 5, a crash on I-44 causes gallons of fuel to spill across the highway.
We've got a pretty cool start out there, some clouds, and then we're going to see some gusty winds and maybe even a chance of a shower or two. Details in that forecast to get you out the door coming up.
Plus, some local wrestling clubs join forces for a benefit tournament to help Pittsburgh high school students battling brain cancer.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Elise Snowy.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is Monday.
Yes.
Here we go.
Here we are.
Another holiday week here.
Yes.
So a lot of folks, maybe a short week, or maybe you just get, the one random day off. And
right.
That's the thing about, you get into certain periods where, the holidays in the middle of the week, you get one random day off and then you go back to work in the middle. That's always throws things off.
Yeah, it's hard to keep up with.
It is indeed. And of course, by the way, it's Monday, December the 30th. We've got a lot to talk about. A lot of you are probably hearing about a polar vortex. Now, the last time we heard that phrase was January of 2020. And you may recall it was an extraordinarily unpleasant event. We'll talk about that in the full forecast. But first, let's get you to work or get you wherever you're going this morning with a look outside from our camera downtown Pittsburgh. We got a few clouds here and there. We also have some dense fog. It kind of flared up here on the fog tracker, so I haven't added it in yet, but it's down across southern Ottawa County and into Delaware County, so Grove, Miami, Veneta being impacted the most. Outside of that, just some patchy light fog here and there. Our camera at 7th and Rangeline in Joplin looking pretty good as well this morning. We'll head down to the MoDOT camera, 20th and Rangeline, looking back up out to the south, also looking fairly good as we kick off this Monday. So, see how fast these wind arrows are moving? Yeah, it's going to be very breezy today. We're talking gusts 35, maybe even 40 miles an hour out of the west with the low pressure system that's just off to our west, starting to roll in around Eureka, just to the west of Yates Center. So some isolated showers, maybe a little drizzle will be possible as we go through today, and we'll have a mix of partly to mostly cloudy skies before clouds really start to thicken up overnight and we'll start to go cloudy, and the winds do not ease up tonight, today, tonight, or tomorrow. Okay, all right. 42 in Joplin, 37 in Pittsburgh, and temperatures across the region a little above normal for most of us, but not significantly so. We're upper 30s and low 40s, so again, a chilly start to the day, but not as chilly as it could potentially get here in the next week or so. All right, so we again have the isolated chances of showers out there. As we head into the afternoon, initially clear or partly cloudy to start the day, and then those clouds increase as we head through the afternoon and evening. Highs today, we have one more mild day out there as we get into the upper 50s, maybe a couple of low 60s. Then it's going to get cold as we head into 2025, and then we've got that polar vortex to talk about next week and what we're expecting, what we're looking at this point, and we'll go over all of that for you here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. Authorities in Miami, Oklahoma have released information regarding an officer-involved shooting that occurred Friday night. According to authorities, 2 separate 911 calls came in at around 4 p.m. Reports of an armed male subject under the influence attempting to break into an apartment at a complex on C Street. Officers arrived on scene and made contact in the apartment complex with the male subject who was reportedly carrying a weapon. According to Interim Police Chief Todd Hicks, it is believed the subject appeared to be under the influence of narcotics and failed to respond to the officer's repeated commands. Shots were fired and the subject was injured. The subject was transported to the emergency room of Integris Hospital and later succumbed to his injuries. Well, a crash on a Sunday evening closes a section of I-44. Tractor trailer struck a barrier on the east side of the overpass at exit 6, then traveled across the bridge, spilling fuel and crashing off the right side of the road. The firefighters worked quickly to plug the fuel leak, and absorbent materials were laid as diesel fuel is very slick. Now, traffic was diverted for a short time and the driver was not injured and remained on the scene. You can watch for updates on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Well, Pittsburgh police and fire responded to reports of a car accident on the corner of Elm and Jefferson. Police Chief Brent Nargis tells a vehicle struck a fire hydrant and a residential porch. Now, on-scene witnesses tell us allegedly a black sedan traveling southbound on Elm failed to stop, hitting a westbound white pickup truck. The truck then veered off the road and ran into the porch of a house on the southwest side of the intersection. One man has been transported to the hospital after a plane crash south of Parsons, Kansas. The pilot of a plane was transported to Kansas City from Labette County Health. 26-year-old Michael Ribordi was landing on an airstrip on private property when he clipped electric lines and nosed into the ground. Ribordi was transported to the hospital with critical injuries. A GoFundMe has been created for his family, which include his wife and young child. For nearly $19,000 has been raised. If you would like to donate, you can find a link to the GoFundMe on our website. Now you can stay up to date for the latest news, weather, and sports with the KOAM Plus TV streaming app. It's available on Amazon Fire TV, Android TV, Apple TV Plus, and Roku. The player is also available on our news and weather apps, as well as our website. You can watch live streaming anytime, absolutely free. The KOAM Plus TV streaming app. The Kansas Highway Patrol released its annual Christmas traffic crash report. Troopers reported one fatal non-DUI crash over the holiday and no fatal DUI crashes. KHP also reported 7 DUI arrests and 227 speeding citations. The numbers reflect a 30-hour counting period from 6 p.m. on Christmas Eve to 11:59 on Christmas night. Last year, troopers reported 4 fatal non-DUI crashes over a similar period. Well, Kansas will be joining 12 other states as part of the IRS Direct File program. The program lets taxpayers file their federal income tax return directly with the IRS for free. The program kicked off last year with 12 participating states. Now, Kansas is a part of the 12 additional states that will be joining this year. The youth wrestling tournament took place Saturday at Pittsburgh High School. The proceeds from the tournament were donated to the family of a PHS student diagnosed with brain cancer. KOAM's Mitch Adams has more.
I don't know. I guess it was just glad. I felt it. I just felt it was my sport. Yeah.
Alyssa Haydenrick is a wrestler at Pittsburgh High School. She's been wrestling for Pittsburgh since middle school.
Oh man, I love Alyssa. I met Alyssa when she was in 7th grade. She wrestled for our middle school program. Since then, she came on to join the high school program. Man, she's so ferocious when she goes out there and wrestles. She's the nicest girl ever, but when you put her out there on the mat, it's like a flip switches and she's ready to kill. But then as soon as she kills, she's super nice again, so it's awesome.
After Alyssa suffered a stroke in October, her and her family discovered that she had a rare form of brain cancer. The wrestling community in the area immediately stepped in by setting up a youth tournament, with all proceeds going to the Haydenrick family.
As soon as we knew that Alyssa was going through this battle, we knew we were going to be battling with her. She's family. She's part of our team, not only our team, our family. So her fight is our fight, and that's been our motto since we've heard about this.
Multiple wrestling programs from all over the area came to compete and help support Alyssa during her journey.
Pittsburgh wrestling community is awesome, and just Pittsburgh in general. Not only Pittsburgh, all Southeast Kansas, a lot of different schools and programs are helping out. One wrestler is all our wrestlers, so we all bind together in the wrestling community.
Elsie Davis, who has coached Alyssa since she first started wrestling, made sure Alyssa and her family knew that he was right behind them.
When you're wrestling, you're the only person wrestling. But it's also good to know that you got a coach supporting you, you got teammates supporting you, you got your family supporting you. So, you know, like, you're not out there by yourself, even though you are by yourself. And that's kind of what Alyssa's deal. You know, she's battling this on her own, but we're here for her too. And we're here to help the family, and we want them to know that we got her back.
Reporting in Pittsburgh, Kansas, Mitch Adams, KOAM News.
T-shirts and wristbands were available for purchase, with those proceeds being donated to the family as well. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes, coming up on the KOAM Morning News. The Oklahoma City Thunder battle the Memphis Grizzlies. We'll have the details. Plus, Hong Kong holds its first panda drone show to raise support and awareness of panda conservation. And we have a warm and partly cloudy day today. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back.
Well, the NFL season is coming to a close as teams across the league wrap up their regular season. There's still multiple teams fighting for playoff positions in both the AFC and the NFC. Packers versus Vikings in a massive game in the NFC North. These two teams could possibly meet again in a few weeks. Picking things up in the first quarter, Packers lead 3-0. Vikings QB Sam Darnold goes over the top of the Green Bay defense to connect with Jalen Naylor for the touchdown. Vikings take a 7-3 lead. Let's go to the second half, though. Minnesota leading 20-3. Jordan Love hands off to Josh Jacobs, who weaves into the end zone. Packers make it a two-score game, but Vikings still lead 20-10. Later in the quarter, Sam Darnold checks it down to his running back, Cam Akers, and he finds his way into the end zone. Vikings extend their lead. It's now 27-10. Going to the fourth quarter, Minnesota leading 27-18. Jordan Love drops back and finds Malik Heath for the touchdown. Packers are back in this game, but the Vikings still lead 27-25. Under 2 minutes left in the game, Sam Darnold rolls out and completes this pass to Cam Akers, who makes a tough catch, and that will ice the game. Minnesota goes on to win this one, 27-25. Vikings will have a shot to win the division next week. So let's check out some scores from the AFC. The Buffalo Bills handle business and beat the New York Jets 40-14. The Bills are officially the number 2 seed in the AFC. Meanwhile, the Miami Dolphins keep their playoff hopes alive. Miami beats Cleveland 20-3. Over to pro basketball. The Oklahoma City Thunder have the best record in the NBA's Western Conference, and last night the Thunder played the Memphis Grizzlies, who currently have the second best record in the Western Conference. Thunder versus Grizzlies, both teams meeting for the first time this season. Second quarter, Thunder up by 19. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander gets the steal and the slam on the other end. A few minutes later, this ball is saved from going out of bounds, and SGA uses the lucky bounce to get this shot to go in. So we go to the next possession in transition. It's SGA who goes coast to coast, and he finishes the layup. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander had 23 points in the first half, Thunder leading by 26. Over to the second half, off the rebound, Jalen Williams runs down the court. He puts the hammer down with a two-hand slam. OKC keeps the momentum rolling, Thunder leading by 29. Then just before the end of the quarter, SGA works around the top of the key, finds Isaiah Hartenstein, who finishes the slam. Thunder win big. Oklahoma City beats Memphis 130-106. Well, it was another successful year at the Pop-Tarts Bowl in Orlando, Florida. Take a look at that. The Iowa State Cyclones defeated the Miami Hurricanes, and the winner gets to eat the edible mascot at the end of the game. Okay, as we can see, the Pop-Tart lowers himself into the toaster, and this year's flavor was cinnamon roll. Last year, it was strawberry. The Iowa State players got to celebrate with their teammates by eating the delicious treat after the game. Well, still to come, remote workers have reported that their social skills have declined since working from home. Plus, we're looking all right. We're getting a little chilly this week. Much colder air possible next week. Details when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 5:18 now on this Monday morning. Starting with the fog tracker, as I mentioned, the latest updates came up right before I had an opportunity to check the box. But here it is. We have dense fog around the Grand Lake area, significantly reduced visibilities in Grove, around Miamis to southern Ottawa County, from Veneta to Anderson as well. And we do have some light patchy fog across the region, but our densest fog, though, confined to primarily Delaware and Ottawa counties this morning. It's going to be very windy today. It's going to be cloudy and it's going to be warm, and you might want to soak up as much of the warm air as you can because it's going to go away and it's not going to be back for quite some time. Could have some isolated showers, maybe a little drizzle here and there as we head into the afternoon and evening hours. I'll have a mix of partly to mostly cloudy skies, but once we head overnight, those clouds will thicken up and it'll just be straight up cloudy as we start our Tuesday. And again, it'll be breezy today, tonight, and into tomorrow as well. We'll start to see clouds gradually clearing as we head into the afternoon tomorrow. No precipitation precipitation out there, but you can see temperatures don't really do a lot of moving. It's going to feel a little bit colder. Excuse me, we're looking at highs mostly in the low 40s across the area, so much colder than it will be today. Overnight into Wednesday, temperatures falling back even more. So now our lows into the 20s. And this is going to feel nice compared to what is expected as we head into next week. I'm going to talk about that in just a moment. The rest of our Wednesday, though, again, chilly by noon, upper 30s, maybe a few low 40s. So again, it's going to get pretty cold out there, but things are going to change. So here is something that I don't usually use, but gives you a great idea. This is the 8 to 14 day forecast temperatures, the departure from normal, okay? From the Climate Prediction Center. So all the way out to the Rockies, these colors here indicate below normal temperatures. These are very below normal temperatures, and you can see we're just right outside that edge there in another very below normal color as well. So here's the expectation. All right, the long-range data seems pretty consistent. As we head into next week, a polar vortex, yes, that disgusting, terrible word that we haven't heard for 4 years, is going to almost settle right on top of us. And it's going to start to push cold air across the eastern half of the country. We are talking very cold air, potentially dangerously cold air, as we head into next week. There's still some variables in play, but there's been a lot of consistency now in some of the long-range data, which we'll continue to monitor. But we are talking wind chills, for example, in our area alone, 10 to 20 degrees below normal. So that is something we have to keep in mind. A quick look at temperatures. I'm going to skip that. We're 42 in Joplin. We got a few clouds out there. We are upper 30s and low 40s. And as we go through today, we're going to climb into the mid-50s by 11 a.m. We're going to start the day clear, and then things will cloud up. And as I mentioned, it's breezy. Today, tonight, west winds gusting upwards of 35 to 40 miles an hour. They will switch out of the northwest on Tuesday, still gusting. Cold air settles in, pretty chilly, upper 30s by Friday, and then next week, take a look. As we get into next week, those temperatures begin to fall as that Arctic air looks to settle in. So again, it's still a ways away, but looking pretty consistent, so just make sure you are ready for the extreme cold that is likely to arrive here in about the next 7 to 10 days. Let's check your forecast. We're back with Health Watch right after this.
Well, topping Health Watch this morning. Norovirus cases are on the rise in some parts of the U.S. Now, the CDC says there were more than 90 outbreaks of the virus reported during the first week of December. Now, this number is up from 69 outbreaks the last week of November. And norovirus is the leading cause of foodborne illnesses in the nation, and it's responsible for nearly 60% of infections. The virus spreads from people who are already infected through sharing utensils and food. Now, it can also spread through water, food, or contaminated surfaces. Health officials recommend people to wash their hands often and to clean surfaces with disinfectants to help protect from the virus. Working from home is a perk many employees in the country are enjoying, but new research shows it might not be as beneficial for your social skills. A poll by online company ResumeBuilder.com found 1 in 4 remote workers say their social skills have declined since working from home. Researchers surveyed 1,000 U.S. workers and found that millennials are the age group struggling the most. The data found that many employees have difficulty with initiating conversation, maintaining eye contact, and participating in group discussions. The study also found 57% of responders say working from home has increased their sense of isolation. Now, despite these drawbacks, only 4 out of 10 workers would like to return to the office at least once a week. And as we inch closer to a new year, you may be vowing to be a better version of yourself in 2025. If you plan on making a resolution but haven't landed on a perfect one yet, how about choosing one that can also help your brain? Mandy Gaither explains how a new hobby in the new year can help your health.
Its popularity continues climbing. While crafting isn't new, research into the health benefits of this hobby is.
There's now some new research showing that simply working on arts and crafts could be good for your mental well-being.
Dr. Sanjay Gupta says this movement, which includes crafts like knitting, painting and drawing, and pottery, can actually bring you peace.
Crafting can lower the stress hormone cortisol. Recent study found a positive relationship between crafting and people's self-reported happiness, satisfaction, overall sense of well-being.
The National Endowment for the Arts says arts education can help youth better cope with feelings, bounce back from adversity, and develop tolerance and compassion for others. For older adults, the agency says participating in art has been linked to positive health outcomes. So if you're looking to start a new hobby in the new year, experts say to tune in to your creative side.
First of all, think back to what interested you as a kid and lean into that. Try new things with a positive, open mind, and do be patient with yourself. You don't have to be great at this or even good at this to get the benefits.
Gupta says a new creative hobby can also help with another critical part of health, social connection.
It's even better if you can do this as part of a group or a community of crafters in real life or even online.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Now, experts say there are other crafts that can help promote mental well-being as well, including crocheting, designing photo books, and adult coloring books. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
And we've got ourselves a cool start to the day and maybe a couple of pieces of drizzle or a shower here or there. Details when we come back.
Right now at 5:30, some Missouri residents teamed up to help homeless residents prepare for the cold winter weather.
It's been a cool start today. It is going to get cold as we head into 2025. We'll have a look, though, at the forecast to get you out the door. Coming up.
Plus, some families brave the chilly weather for a day of exciting winter activities in Fort Scott.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:31. I'm Elise Snowy.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is Monday, December the 30th. Of course, tomorrow's New Year's Eve.
Yes,
and
it is.
Next day's New Year's Day. I don't know about you, but about 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I kind of stopped really caring about
I'm right there
the
with
new
you.
year. You know, like,
I'm right there with you. A time to reflect maybe for some, or to start some new projects or things like that.
There's things like that, but I mean, I don't celebrate. I don't.
Right.
You know, I'm not staying up until midnight.
It was so cool to do when you were a kid.
Yes. Now, when I was a kid, you know, neighborhood kids and I, we'd all get together.
Yes.
We're up all night, you know. But now I'm like,
It's
staying up to
like,
9 o'clock is a challenge. Yeah, it's difficult. But either way, we are getting ready to settle into 2025, and 2025 is going to kick off with some unpleasant weather conditions. It's going to be an interesting week, but we'll talk about that in a minute. We need to get you out the door today because many of you probably still have work to do, or maybe some, I don't know, shopping or getting ready for those New Year's resolutions today.
Absolutely.
And as you do so, be prepared for gusty winds and maybe even a shower or two. But not right now. Quick look outside our camera downtown Pittsburgh. Got a few clouds here and there, not looking too crazy. Our camera 7th at Rangeline also looking pretty good this morning as well. And then we take a look at the MoDOT camera 20th and Rangeline in Joplin, also looking good for now. But things could change next week, which we'll talk about a little later. First, though, take a look. We've got dense fog spreading a little bit now. So now into a good portion of Washington County, southwestern Newada County, stretching into eastern Craig, southern Ottawa, and then back into Delaware County. Some reduced visibilities. You can see we do have slightly reduced visibilities outside of those zones as well. We have some patchy fog here and there, but the densest fog right now confined to northeastern Oklahoma. Could have some stray showers, maybe a little bit of drizzle here and there. As we head into the afternoon, it's going to be very breezy. We'll have west winds gusting 35 to 40 miles an hour. So you've got to keep that in mind, especially if you're driving on any north-south roadways out there. Temperatures, it's 42 in Joplin at this moment, 37 in Pittsburgh. We're not that bad, honestly. We've got mid-upper 30s and then low 40s across the area. Right now, the southeasterly breeze, but as that low pressure gets a little closer, that will begin to change. So again, it's a slight chance of some rain, increasing clouds. So we should start the day sunny or at most partly cloudy. Clouds will increase again. Rain chances slim, but they are there. And then it'll just be cloudy and breezy tonight. It's going to be windy again tomorrow, much cooler tomorrow. And then we're tracking a possible Arctic blast by next week. We'll go over those details with you in the full forecast here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, we'll see you soon, Chris. Thanks. Authorities in Cherryville, Kansas want to make a stretch of road a much safer place, and they're asking the public for help. The Cherryville Police Department is urging residents to take a 10-minute survey to address the growing number of accidents on US 169. Now, the initiative focuses on protecting young drivers, children, as well as the entire community. Now, we provided a convenient link to the survey on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Well, families bundled up for some cool fun in Fort Scott Saturday night. The Glide, the synthetic ice skating rink, brought out skaters of all ages. Now, for some fans, skating is their favorite thing, regardless of skill level.
A lot harder than roller skating.
To me, it's easier.
Yeah.
Elaborate. I can't roller skate.
You can't. Wait, what about with blades?
With blades, yeah, but
I'm really struggling at ice skating.
Well, January 5th is the last day the Glide is open this holiday season. Well, Huckleberry Ridge Airsoft outside of Pineville, Missouri put on an event known as Mechanized Second Strike Saturday. Now, unlike traditional airsoft games, teams can use smaller versions of vehicles that resemble a tank or UTV. Now, the day started with a game known as Conquest, where teams compete for various control points throughout the field of play.
What's important about this event to me is the fact that we're integrating vehicles. Most of the time at an airsoft game, it's a bunch of guys running around with a bunch of other guys on the other team. This integrates a different level to it. You got the vehicles, you got to run away from them, working together with them. Just adds a different layer.
oh yeah! Push up, push up.
The event was completely free for those who participated. Some Southwest Missouri residents have teamed up to give away hot dogs, coats, and blankets to Joplin residents in an event called Jesus Dogs. The goal of the event is to help tackle some issues poor and homeless area residents may face in the wintertime. The event also had music for people to come out and bring lawn chairs and enjoy each other's company.
I realize that people are lonely and people are hurting, and Friday nights is a sad night for a lot of people, and to be able to just be around people and say, hey, you know, you don't have to be alone, you don't have to be hurting, you can come and we can fulfill a need for at least a time being, but a temporal need, but hopefully a spiritual need that's long lasting.
All clothing are donations from community members. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Vladimir Putin apologizes for the crash on Azerbaijani airliner in Kazakhstan. Plus, investigators are still assessing the wreckage of South Korea's deadliest plane crash. We'll have the latest. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. Well, topping World Watch in Hong Kong, Chinese lovers of things light and airy look up and light up when they see China's favorite animal symbol in lights. Hong Kong was abuzz when 1,000 drones hummed overhead in creative characterizations of pandas. The first ever Hong Kong drone show over Victoria Harbor on Saturday night featured 1,000 drones dancing around to form different looks of pandas. The show was part of a campaign to raise support and awareness of panda conservation. Now, fans of pandas praised the moving drone show for their technique, and pandas are a popular item right now after Beijing gifted Hong Kong with a pair of giant pandas named An and Kiki. Well, Russian President Vladimir Putin apologizes to Azerbaijani president for the crash of an Azerbaijani airline in Kazakhstan, calling it a tragic incident. Now, according to a Kremlin official document, Putin apologized to Azerbaijani President Ilham Aliyev for the fact that the tragic incident occurred in a Russian airspace. In an official statement Saturday, the Kremlin said air defense systems were firing near Grozny due to a Ukrainian drone strike as the plane attempted to land. but stopped short of saying one of these hit the plane. The aircraft was flying Wednesday from Azerbaijan's capital of Baku and to Grozny, the regional capital of the Russian Republic of Chechnya, when it turned toward Kazakhstan and crashed. 38 people were killed and 29 others survived. Investigators are probing into South Korea's deadliest plane crash after 179 people died when a Boeing jet crashed Sunday morning. Lucas Tomlinson has the latest on that and reaction from President Biden.
Investigators Sunday began assessing the wreckage of South Korea's deadliest plane crash after a Jeju airliner skidded off the runway, slamming into a concrete barrier, killing 179 people on board. Just 2 crew members survived. Officials investigating the crash say air traffic controllers warned about a bird strike risk minutes before the crash.
A lot of aviation experts are scratching their heads on this one. There is video which seems to indicate they lost their right engine.
It just doesn't explain why the airplane is coming in so hot and with the landing gear in the up position.
The aircraft was a 15-year-old Boeing 737 jet operated by budget Irish airline Ryanair before it was delivered to Jeju Air in 2017. In the U.S., where Boeings are manufactured, the incident is stirring new questions after Boeing planes have made headlines around the world in recent years after a series of quality control incidents. Most notably, the mid-air blowout of a door plug on an Alaskan Airlines flight last January. Aviation experts assessing this latest crash say it appears there was a glitch with the landing gear.
Number one, the gear is not extended. The flaps are not extended, which would indicate that there was a major hydraulic failure of some kind there.
In a statement, Boeing offered support to Jeju Air, adding, quote, "We extend our deepest condolences to the families who lost loved ones, and our thoughts remain with the passengers and crew." In a statement, President Biden offered condolences, saying the U.S. and South Korea share deep bonds of friendship, and offered to assist in any way.
Now, it's likely to take months, if not years, to uncover why the plane crashed. But since the plane was made in the U.S., the National Transportation Safety Board will also be involved with the investigation. And that's a look at World Watch. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. 5:46 now on this Monday morning. Quick look at the fog tracker. Densest fog across parts of northeastern Oklahoma at this point. The Wada, Veneta, Grove, Miami. We do have some patchy fog with slightly reduced visibilities outside of that. But if you are traveling through northeastern Oklahoma this morning, do keep in mind, got a little bit denser fog down there. Want to talk about a few things. There's a lot to discuss and not a lot of time to discuss it all. But today it's going to be windy. It is going to be warm. It is going to be mostly cloudy as we go through the day. By noon, we're going to start to see a low pressure system tracking just to our north. Could bring us a few isolated showers, maybe a little bit of drizzle, but it's also going to bring us a lot of wind. We're talking west winds gusting 35, 40 miles an hour. Outside of the showers or drizzle, we'll have an opportunity to be partly to mostly cloudy. Once we go overnight, we just go straight up cloudy. Northwest winds start to kick in early tomorrow morning. Overnight tonight into tomorrow, those winds, though, still gusting at around 35 to 40 miles an hour. The first half of our Tuesday is cloudy. As we head into the afternoon, we are colder tomorrow, and we'll start to see clouds clear from west to east until we are just straight up mostly clear overnight into our Wednesday. For New Year's Day, we're looking pretty good. Cold start, though, so if you're celebrating, it's going to be chilly out there. We're talking mid-upper 20s to kick off the first day of the new year. And temperatures not doing a lot of moving on New Year's Day into the upper 30s, some low 40s. Not very warm at all. Low 40s for highs for New Year's Day. It's going to get colder after that. And this is where it gets a little intense, a little bit wild, a little bit crazy, a little bit more to talk about. Let's get to that. 8 to 14 day forecasted temperatures from the Climate Prediction Center. This is below normal all the way out to the Rockies and then above normal toward the west coast. These colors are the chances of being below normal. So in this zone, I've got a little key here off to the side. We're talking 90 to 100% chance of it being below normal. And in our zone here into our region, we're in that 70 to 80% range of being below normal. What we mean by below normal is about 7 to 10 days from now, we are looking at temperatures across our area with a polar vortex only reaching the 20s for highs, single digits for lows, maybe even periods where it's going to be colder than that. And we're also going to be at least watching the possibility of some wintry precipitation to go along with that. Again, we are 7 to 10 days out from that, but take a look at what the extended is already showing. As for the rest of this week, though, still cold, 40s, upper 30s Fridays. That's going to feel pretty cold. And we go into next week. That's when we start to see temperatures really start to fall. Something we'll keep a close eye on. It could be a potentially dangerous Arctic blast out there. But as for today, though, nice and warm, upper 50s for the majority of us. That's Check Your Forecast. We're back with more right after this.
Well, bookstores and ebooks are seeing steady growth as young audiences continue to be interested in literature. Joy Benedict has the story.
Biscuits, Hanukkah.
Let's read that.
Okay.
There's just something about a book. And in this day and age, a bookstore.
I love this bookstore. It's curated beautifully. It's just like a warm, wonderful place. Like, I love coming in here.
Here is Annabelle's Book Club in Studio City, where pink accents every wall. And a library ladder takes readers on a magical journey through pages.
This is a wall of my favorite books.
Annabelle Chang is the owner. She is just a teenager, so it should come as no surprise that the most popular genre here is young adult fiction.
People are really excited about our young adult curation and sort of the personalized aspect of it.
She opened the store while in high school. Now a freshman at Stanford, she comes back for the club. Mocktails, cupcakes, and fellow readers flood the shop on event nights.
One of my favorite authors in one night.
This was the book launch for A Queen's Game by young adult author Catherine McGee, who's seen sales soar since the pandemic.
And I think that reading, especially books like these that are meant to bring you joy, meant for you to finish the book and be happier than when you started reading, are really what people are gravitating toward right now.
And book boss Barnes & Noble agrees, which ironically is just a block down the boulevard. After boarding up more than 160 stores in the decade before the pandemic, the retail giant opened 57 new stores in 2024. As it says, its paperback sales shot up 20%, something it credits to young readers.
I really enjoy having an actual physical book in my hand.
And it's not just books bought, it's also books borrowed.
We've always been the place for book lovers in Los Angeles.
The LA Public Library owns 6 million books at more than 70 branches, loaning out about 500,000 books every month, some of which have 600 people on a waiting list that can take months. Librarian Catherine Royalty is in charge of ordering new ones every week, but she says her biggest lift in the world of literacy is through ebooks and audiobooks accessible on an app.
In 2023, Los Angeles Public Library users checked out over 12 million items on Libby, which was a world record for libraries everywhere.
Whether listening or reading, books are back.
I just love all bookstores. I think it's just so fun to see bookstores thriving again.
As the escape offered in the written word is bringing in big bucks and offering literacy lovers a community on and off the page.
Certainly great to see you. Stick around. We'll be right back. Well, Times Square New Year's Eve organizers test the confetti ahead of Tuesday night's celebration. Organizers, alongside presenting sponsor Planet Fitness, released multicolored confetti Sunday morning. 3,000 pounds of confetti are set to be released at midnight on New Year's Eve. The confetti will include thousands of wishes from people who submitted them as the New Year's Eve wishing wall in Times Square and online through the virtual wishing wall. Now, all of the days of the year, today is not the time to say hold the bacon. Now, that's because it's National Bacon Day, and bacon lovers are expected to celebrate it either at breakfast, perhaps with a side of eggs or toast, or later in the day. Now, bacon is no longer just a breakfast item. People sprinkle bacon onto sandwiches, soups, appetizers, and even some cocktails like to include it. Now, on average, about half of all Americans eat at least a pound of bacon each year.
I am apparently not with most Americans, because on occasion I can put away a pack of bacon. You just microwave it, take it out, It's very chewy, very good. And today, good day for it. Tomorrow, even better, though, as we start to get colder. We're talking going through the 40s, eventually mid-50s. Mostly clear skies out there, maybe a few clouds here and there. Otherwise, a nice start to the day. Then into the afternoon, clouds increase. Could have a stray shower, maybe a sprinkle or two. Most of us will be dry, but some drizzle will be possible here and there. The big thing, though, is winds. West gusting 35, maybe 40 miles an hour. Highs today, upper 50s, maybe even a couple of low 60s. You might want to enjoy it, though. Rain showers come to an end by about 8, 9 o'clock. We are cloudy overnight, still windy, and temperatures falling back into the upper 30s. Then we start to get chilly heading into the New Year's Eve and 2025. Highs into the 40s, even into the 30s, and then we're watching that Arctic blast as we head into next week. We'll have more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.